We've had a lot of fun with recursion. How about some inversion in flip? Which of course is going to still involve some recursion, because otherwise how would you know that it's inverted? I mean, if something just exists as one singular box, there's no difference if it's actually flipped or not. So as you can see right now, I got this nice kind of plasticky sheen over it. When I try to go over to the left, I appear on the right in the smaller box. So, at least for right now, I mean, all I gotta do is just think the opposite of where you would normally be going, and it's that easy to solve the puzzle. But of course, things are not that simple, really. So, immediately here, you can also enter from the opposite side to make that work as well. Everything works in the exact opposite way of what you're thinking. And yeah, for example there, even though I can't really enter from that other side, I can enter from this side and appear on the other side of the block. Simple as that. Also kind of easy to see exactly where you're going to end up appearing, just looking at what the actual layout of the block looks like. You know, sort of matching the two. Because after all, a recursed block, this is obviously not going to work, but that's why. Oh, yep. We are going to be also reversing blocks, because when you push a block into an inverted block, or a clone block at the very least, it also inverts it, just because, you know, you're pushing it into the same thing. And now they got that fun plasticky sheen on there as well. Alright. And that is going to be the really difficult part of this entire section. Obviously, I don't actually want it like this. I want it pointing the other way, so push it in again to invert it a second time. Yes, and this is going to be used an awful lot here, so all you gotta do is make sure that you push it from one block to another and it gets inverted. Thankfully, the main character doesn't, because how would that even work? Like, unless it was gonna reverse the controls, and that's not really much of a puzzle solution or anything. It's more just annoying. So I guess I'm happy that didn't actually go like that. Okay, I don't really think I can. Yeah, I'm gonna push it inside of the thing, so I need to like invert it now and then uninvert it. Yeah, because all it takes is just doing it twice. Oh, no, but I need to have this one facing the opposite direction. Frustrating. Well, anyway, yeah, just making sure that you get everything kind of placed in the right way is kind of the entire crux of this set of puzzles, after all. Yeah, I think what I actually want to do is I want to invert this one. Then I should be able to uninvert it from here. No, I actually want to keep it. I want to keep it the same. Just need to make sure that I can actually push it inside of there. I don't know why I was obsessed with like trying to get it to go one way over another. I mean, I guess for some reason I just thought that because, you know, obviously having stuff facing the right direction so things get pushed into the correct square is kind of important. But it's not. You can just kind of switch around the positions of the things to make it really work. Okay, so here, obviously I want this one to be facing this direction. I want this one to be facing the opposite direction. But to actually get stuff pushed inside of there, I think what I'm going to want to do is get this one inverted first, like that. Then push you inside of here, because it has to be in that area to actually be, you know, successfully pushed out of there. Otherwise, it's not really going to work at all. So you can do it like that. And yeah, just invert, uninvert, and there's the solution. As easy as that. And yes, every single time you invert, it is going to require you to have some sort of recursed box, or at the very least a clone box, to actually make that function correctly. And other than that, I mean, you know, even if it is like a reverse clone block and everything, it still works in the exact same way. And you can also just invert the actual box you're inside, the box that the smaller version of the recursed box that you're in to make that do. All right, here, yeah, the entire thing is going to be try and extrude that right through the opening, but I got to do that by doing this. There we go. So now I can have that on the opening. Push it in there, push it out through the entrance. I don't know, like the entire thing with recursion and whatnot, I feel like the easiest way to think about it is to just think where the boxes open and where you can enter and exit from any sort of box in. Don't try to think of them as like smaller versions of the box or something like that, because ultimately, as we've seen in the more command line like sections, that all you really need to do is you just need to it works in a way that you have a. By the way, this one needs to be inverted. This one needs to be inverted. This one doesn't, so that should be pretty easy to accomplish, right? Go push this one in here to invert it. Then, like, push this one in here. No. Actually, go back, because I can push this one out. No, but that's going to kind of mess up with the order. Yeah, okay. Let's get this one out here, because that one's inverted now. Now I can go from here instead to not have that one inverted by pressing it in a second time. And then push this one in again to have it inverted, and that's pretty much all I need to do. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we've seen in the command line sections that the way everything works is that there's the area that you exist in, and then there's the box that represents that area. They're not necessarily the same thing. They look like the same thing when you're looking at them in this perspective, but that is not, in fact, how they work. All right. So first off, need to have this one inverted, so push it into the inverted one. Need to have... Do I need this one inverted? Yes, because it needs to actually lead into the thing. Okay, and then this one I don't need inverted, so I'm going to push it into the one that is not inverted. Then I need to go from this side to be able to actually get everything out of here. So that goes this order, and this order. But yeah, I don't know. I guess... Recursion, you know, thinking about like how this sort of stuff works is still like super weird and abstract. But that's what I really like about this game after all. I just think it's fun. Okay, go get this one inverted in that way so that I can push this one inside of there. Because obviously you can never come outside of a clone block. Yeah, funny thing is that, yeah, I pretty much just switched the flipped states of both of the boxes by doing it like that. If you have both of the, if you have the clone box and the box that it represents both flipped or both not flipped, then they don't flip each other. But if they're the opposite, you can just kind of logic gate them back and forth as much as you want to. All right. Oh yeah, this is interesting. So we got the clone one flipped. We got the normal one not flipped, and that means that I can push boxes against each other to be able to enter and exit them like that. And then it's as simple as just using the same sort of center concept that I was using before. There we go. An interesting idea where you create a solid surface by pushing an object against itself, because otherwise, normally that wouldn't work if it wasn't flipped. It's pretty clever in that way. And I think that this is just taking it to its logical extreme. So, as you can see here, yeah, everything is currently flipped. So I need to push this through one of them to unflip it. Yeah. So there, now the normal one is not flipped, but each one of the clone boxes are. I need to push this one through because, yeah, like the way I'm going to need to do it needs to be on this square here in particular. Let's just actually undo that. So you've got to be, first off, pushed over a little bit so that I can actually get access to it again. Flip it to the other side, and that should have it be in the box that I need to be in and pushed up against itself when I push it over here. It's again another one of those things that you can see very easily in the little tiny version of it. And then, oh man, this one kind of tricky. I mean, working with the whole swap mechanic where, you know, pushing inverted boxes into a box will protect it from creating a parabox. But I need to actually figure out how to do that in the first place. So to begin with, I guess easiest way to end up doing this is I want this one to face the other direction so that when I push it up, well, here. Actually, first off, I need to be able to access it. So push it from here, because I need to have this thing able to push the recursed box out to the left to begin with. Then I can push this in here. And there. Now I have access inside of the red box. Go out from here, push this out. Now I'm actually in the flipped version of it, not that it really makes too much of a difference. However, I need to push the red box into the square without flipping it. So if I just push it out from here, that would work, but that unflips it. So I need to go get it flipped one more time. Thankfully, due to the way that recursed boxes work, I can pretty much, you know, flip these things infinitely, so much as I choose. And yeah, kind of a tricky looking one, but it makes a lot of sense when you do it like that there. Okay. So we got a clone box, we got a regular box. I need to have the recursed box to be flipped in the other direction. And that should be as easy as just, getting a flipped clone box to do that. Because then all I need to do is just push this. Yeah, that would do it, right? Because if you push something into a clone box, it flips, right? It does not. Okay. I mean, well, yes, but like, no. Yeah, the entire thing here is that I need to actually get it in a way that it will... Okay, I think I want the regular box to be flipped. So push that out there. Push you up here because, you know, I need to get it inside of there. And then, yeah, okay. That flips the entire thing like that. And then I can go out from here, push this out, push this up to where it needs to be. And that'll create the solution. Yeah, I just got to remember. Because the thing is, it's just like, yeah, pushing it through the clone block that's flipped still sends it to the normal block. You know? Doesn't quite work in the exact way that I want it to. All right. Oh, boy. Time for more flipping back and forth wildly. Trying to make this work for me. All right. So number one thing. What I got to do is I got to go get the red block into the green block, which should be as easy as just pushing this up into here to flip it. Yeah, and then I can push it directly in there. However, I do think that the problem is that, yeah, I don't want it to be flipped. I want it to be in that direction. So, what I can do then is I can instead... Yeah, I don't know. This should be as simple as just push this over here. Push it into the box. And then what I'll do is when I flip it, by pushing it through here, I'll just push it out. And then... You know, flip it again, right? There. And now that should unflip it and give me the solution. There. As long as you got the recursion down, the idea of the recursive boxes, it's all pretty simple. Well, sort of. This is a little bit more abstract to actually see, but all right. So I want to get the normal box flipped. And I want to get the 2 box flipped. And that should be able to create the scenario of, yes, pushing a box against itself, if I'm not mistaken. The clone block up there is flipped, which I guess is, you know, represented here by the backslash. Once again, I'm glad I practiced these puzzles ahead of time because sometimes it's just like I still have to work through it in my mind anyway. By the way, I do practice all these puzzles ahead of time. I do make sure that... I want to make sure that it's not just like, oh my god, he's spending 10 hours on a single puzzle. This is literally the worst thing. Okay, so this should open... Okay, so the 1 should open up to the left. The 2 should be opening up to the right. So all I need to do is go from this box into here. There you go. Oh, I had somebody commenting about that in the last episode. But yes, no, all the puzzle games I play, I do practice well ahead of time to make absolutely sure that this is like at least a somewhat enjoyable experience. Maybe in just like an oddly satisfying ASMR fashion, but you know. Cycle. Ah, yes. So, you might have noticed with some of the recurse boxes before that when you try to push a box on like the edge of one, that what you do is you just constantly push it in a cycle. It's like a big loop or something like that. Because what happens is that when you push a block out into like the upper layer, a block from the bottom layer is immediately pushed in there as well. And here, now you can just use that to create an entire queue and everything. Kind of fun in that way. But I do actually need to be able to, you know, get into the right things. I mean, this is just your simple intro into the world. It's only even a one-way type of queue in that way. And same thing, because now I can just push that one backwards. And then still continue to use the whole queue logic to then get right in there. This is a very clever sort of use of the basic, like exactly how what was the word I'm trying to think of? The recursion logic works. Yeah, and here it's like it doesn't matter from where you push it, because pushing it pushes a block out of the recurse block, and then that will push a block. So pushing this one on the upper level is going to push the larger blocks above me onto the upper level, and that will push the recursed box blocks into the level that I'm currently at. Creating, again, just like a queue. No, wait, undo that one. And it's as simple as that. Then I just use the basic transfer logic and right in here to finish up the puzzle. Of course, when you have, again, like two-way queues, it gets a little bit more complicated. Here, at the very least, it's fairly simple, all things considered. Okay, push that one in there. Just remember, if you have two entrances and exits into stuff, that you can have a lot more fine control. You don't need to enter into the queue yourself, which is normally kind of the way you would do it. And then here, just pushing it against the wall means that now I can have it pushed against the wall to enter into the box. Then just get this one out. No, not there. But I want to get it at the top because I want to push this one out. It is still a recursed box, and that means that you can change the entrance and exit of each one of these areas. God, I can only hope that even some of this stuff makes any sense. Look, it makes sense in my mind, but I don't know. Yeah, so you can see this entire thing. The idea here is that you can go back and forth. And so, because of that, what I want to do is I want to go get one block there. And now I have slightly finer control, but it's enough to go change the position that I got my box at to be able to get the puzzle solution working for me. Just remember, if you have more than one entrance and exit to a box on one side there, the puzzle is very much intending for you to use that. All right. So this is just a very simple sort of concept where you just push it into the clone blocks, and it creates the exact same sort of queue because without needing to be up against a wall in the same way. Does that make any sense? I don't know. Here. Well, first off, what I want to do is I want to go get like you here, and then I want to go get, well, actually one more here. Or not that. What I want to do is I want to go get the solution block to be, yeah, about like one over from there. And then I can go like set these over here while I mess around with the smaller pipe, and that'll create the entire thing. Really, it's just interesting the sort of things that you can end up creating with just simple recursion like that. 2 more puzzles left to get done with that. Oh yeah, and here, obviously you can't really mess around with this block as it is. However, then, you know, it just loops around like that. However, if you just create a little bit more complete of a cycle, then you can just manipulate the box from a different area. Because otherwise, yeah, going in from that outside, the rightmost exit to that recursed box would instead just result in you what's the word I'm trying to think of? Exiting without manipulating the position of that other block. Same thing going on here, where the idea is supposed to be that I am going to create a queue, but this time with myself. Although I do need to actually create like an area I can get into first off. Yeah, do it like that. Push that one down there, get you into position, and then yeah, it's going to be pretty much creating like a queue, but this time I'm here. There we go. And there we go, the next level open, but also some more of the light blue puzzles, which, looking at that last time, that was the one that had the even-sided boxes. These ones, similarly gimmicky stuff. Yes, again, creating a queue, but this time not actually using the recursed box itself, but instead using the clone box to make that happen. Because now what this is going to do is it's going to push it directly in from the top. So it's sort of like a reverse queue from when you're pushing it out. This time you're pushing it in to the box. And there we go. Allowing me to get right in there. Get that positioned well enough to make it work. Oh yeah, and then again, just like push it from the outside. And then there's nothing that stops me from pushing stuff from the inside, as long as I have an exit to make that work for me. You know, as long as you can push a block, the queue is going to work. The logic is still sound at every single level. And oh yeah, just because you can enter every single one of these, it still takes priority to push blocks over having you enter another one. And this is just a play on pushing blocks. Meaning that it is, oh man, this one took me so long to try and figure out the first time and everything. It's actually really simple. It's like what you want to do is you want to get both of the L-shaped blocks to be facing the same way. So I'll just do it like, actually, not even do it like that. Yeah. No. I was right the first time. Uninvert that, because then I want them to be spaced out like that. That'll have the larger block, the longer L block be below the upper L block, you know, like this. And that means that I'll be able to enter and exit the correct things, but also still push it from the top. I need to obviously go in through the middle section, and that can only be done through the top block. And then from here, since there is an exit up here, I can make the queue work in the exact same way. And although that doesn't really do much for me, kind of get the inversion done. And now I can do the transfer basic stuff. And now get that one inverted one more time, and that lines up perfectly with this. Oh, a really difficult one to understand in some ways. And I'm kind of surprised that that's not even like a challenge puzzle. That was one of the normal ones. But I suppose if you mess around with it enough, you'd probably be able to figure it out. Oh, yes. So, if it has walls on both the sides, those do not actually give me access to another one of the blocks, so I can't push anything. However, these ones do. But because of the way this entire thing works, yeah, it's instead, you know, pushing it from the opposite side in that way. But still, go get you in here. And then I can use the clone block as a way to just reset my position from where I'm at. Yeah, so go push this one over here. Yeah, it'll be right above the exit thing. And then go push stuff from over here. Yeah, that should do it. No, not like that. I don't know why I'm going in the middle. I guess this is just more aesthetically pleasing. Because the idea here is that what I'm doing is I am pushing the entire block. You know, it's not like I'm pushing the little orange blocks inside. I'm pushing the entire thing. I mean, just see, like that. And that's why like the left side isn't moving and everything, because that is not part of the queue of blocks that I'm actually pushing. But I don't know. It just looks nicer. Yeah. So, yeah, obviously you can easily create like an infinite parabox there. But that does mean that, like, what I can do is I can kind of reset my position by going left, because that makes the queue shorter when I push it like this. And first off, I have one block in between me. Then that should be enough to push that one down. Now one extra block in between me. And then when I get back to the vertical section, then I just need 2 more. There, and then just go. It is a very simple solution when you grok it. All right, let's do the gimmicky stuff. So what's this one here? Oh yes, I remember this only too well. Well, here, let's just go inside one of these. Oblong boxes. That's right, they've all been even-sided up to this point. Now we got ones that are a little bit more funky, a little bit less predictable where you might be going in and out of them, but in some ways that also makes it... No, go from the right side. Okay. But in some ways that also makes it a lot easier to kind of... I don't know, I found these puzzles pretty easy to understand, because it's just, yeah, it is, you know, different, but it's also like, I don't know, all you're doing is you're still pushing stuff from the edges. And with the way that everything works in Parabox, that, like, all of the same rules apply regardless of where everything appears and stuff. Like, yeah, you can go in here, and it does do that, but as long as you're pushing it from the edge, it doesn't really matter for these ones. And similarly from here, it's like, yes, everything is all kind of like weird. However, this starts on the bottom, so all I need to do is just push stuff from the bottom. Or then not push stuff out from the outside. So it's just like, yeah, pushing stuff from the bottom will still have it appear directly above the box. And there. It's like all of the same rules still apply. I feel like it could have gone a lot farther with those puzzles. But then again, I suppose it's really not that much different from a normal puzzle. It just looks weird. So, does it really matter? Player. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. The last 2 ones were pretty fun. This one is going to be... This is a very obvious sort of puzzle style that you probably imagined even from the very beginning. Also, a different level entering animation. That's right, now I'm a manipulatable block. So normally the player character, of course, is just, you know, you can pretty much describe them as just another block. But now, can actually have blocks inside and outside of me. And, I mean, it's starting out here. It's like all this stuff would work the exact same with like a normal block. It's just I have much finer control over this stuff now. Now I do want to go from the bottom here, left there. And yeah, same sort of thing here, because what I can do is I can go from the left side for each one of these, because the whole center concept sends everything into the center. Yes, having an entirely permeable block. And am I going to be able to recurse inside of myself? Oh, of course I am. Like, what are you even thinking? And then it's like, yeah, moving stuff around like that means that you can have some weird fine control that you wouldn't normally have with this sort of stuff if it was like a block that you had to interact with in the universe. Same sort of thing here, too. That means you can get some funky interactions with some of this stuff. All right, so yeah, obviously kind of go up, down, left, right. The idea here is going to be get this one on top so that it gets pushed out the back when I absorb this block. And that creates the L block to get right into the solution. Man, this is such a weird animation. Where it's like instead of jumping inside of the box, instead you like send your eyeballs in there. Because I guess, you know, that's not the player character. Because the player character does not have a hole in the middle. So instead I'm controlling it. Alright. So what I want to do, giving this little thing up here for good reason. What you want to do is you want to try and get it so that I have all 3 of these blocks here in a way that I can... Yeah, that I can't push a block out. Because that means then the block is forced into the green one. And there you go. All right, getting some real wild stuff now. Oh, yeah. But I mean, this one is as simple as just like you know how the center thing works? There you go. It gives you a lot of fine control over how some of that stuff functions. This one, I just want to make sure that I get this out here first so that I can use that to reset my position. Because when I do that, I can just reset my position from here, push it right out. Not even all that challenging of a puzzle. Kind of surprised that it's one of the red outline ones. Again, same thing. Do you know how the center concept works? Well, then you can use that to push that one right out. And then similarly push it right back into the position that you actually need it in. Because otherwise, this is a permeable block, so you would... And it's kind of hard to... You need to use a secondary block to kind of manipulate that permeable one. Oh, yeah, now we're getting the cycle stuff. But cycle in a way where... It's a little bit different, yeah. Oh, yes, and one of the fun things is that, yeah, if you can't push a block out, then instead it goes into that middle block. But I want to push that one out here because that's going to require me to get inside of it for puzzle-solving solution stuff. Or not like that. No, I want to actually keep the block on there. But then I do need to... This is some of those that good funky Sokoban nonsense. Oh yeah, no, I gotta make sure because I need a regular block because otherwise that one I can actually enter. It's not gonna be able to push stuff out in the way I want it to. And yeah, that should be enough. I can do that from really any area in this map, but it'll work that way. Now here we got cycle because yes, I am because we're looking at of course, the recursed, me being the recursed box. So I need to push this one up. I need to have this one on the left side in the middle to get that pushed out correctly. So let's go get it over on the left side. Get it into the middle. In the bottom left corner, they give you that very helpful sort of like map almost. And then push that one out. Get in here, finish that up. All right. So from yeah, and now this is like this is the transfer concept. I can instead kind of again get that in the middle because I want it to be pushed out. And then since that's in the middle, I don't actually need to go into don't need to use any sort of transfer concept for that. Well, I do need to do it for here because I need to have it on the bottom. Yeah, there we go. And that'll push that out and give me the solution. All right, getting in there now. But as long as you got like the basic concept of like the loop here, it's not too bad. Oh yeah, and here, since you're given multiple entrances and exits, that just means that now I have a lot more fine control over how the looping works. Because you get that in there, and then that becomes part of that queue, and then set it about there, right? Because without the ability to push that out from the right side, then I can push that right into the green block. All right. Oh, yeah. This one's kind of tricky. I mean, kind of tricky. It's really not that tricky. But it does use the whole, like, inverting stuff again. All right. So the idea here, I suppose, is supposed to be that I need to make sure that I can... get this one inside of here, and then make it so that it's forced inside that green one, which by flipping back and forth is as easy as that. And then here, same basic thing, just a little bit more complicated. Make sure you understand that recursion, you know? No, I actually do want to go in from here. Then what is the direction? Well, I mean, the thing is, what I actually want to do is I want to go from here. But I do need to... Yeah, I can't have that recurse, though. I need to have it with the normal variety. Yeah, because I want to make sure that that if I'm going to be pushing this one into here... Yes... that I do have it facing the right direction. And myself facing the right direction, no less. because otherwise might not work out in the way that I want it to. But that'll get the recurse box into a little bit more friendly location. Then I can just push this one into the clone one to get it right into the correct place to solve the puzzle. There we go. Just remember where all of your entrances and exits are when doing this. Okay, so we got a recursed box here, but I guess the idea here is that, yeah, I want to unrecurse the box. So I want you in here first, because I want to go from the orange box inside of myself. That's right. I'm doing it. Here I am. You can even see like the little eyeballs on there and everything. Kind of funny how that works. Yeah, we're getting real wild now. I kind of saw this one earlier, but this is like, yeah, looping, but looping in a way that will allow me to push it outside of there. And then finally, same basic concept, as long as you remember your center stuff. Well, actually, no. I want to go from the bottom here because this would be exiting myself, and that causes a parabox. So go from here instead. That'll push it like that. Same sort of thing in reverse. Just again, remember the center concepts. Works well even for recursed things, after all. In fact, I would say probably works more than well for recursed things. That's the best place to be using it. And then we got one more gimmicky type of level. These I remember are called the friend levels. Yep. Got a second box buddy. Not looking like he's having a good time, but moves in the exact same way as the normal one. And for whatever reason, it's like you can also push friend blocks as if they're blocks, so, you know, that sort of thing. Is that helpful? Probably not, but yeah. And now I just need to make sure that using the Parabox ideas that I kind of get them in separate locations, because after all, again, you always go into the middle of an area you enter. Kind of setting stuff over there. Want to get you into this box in a way so that, yeah, I can move stuff around without accidentally kind of preventing the puzzle from being solved. Then here, a third one being introduced. Also kind of not having a great time. It's too bad, really. Although the obvious thing to do, I like that they also look in all different directions too and everything. But, so due to the fact that I'm recursed right now, I think I want to do this in the opposite thing. So, normal controllable character means go left 2 squares. Okay. And then for the second one, go right 2 squares. I think they give you just enough area to make this work. And then from the middle, go left 1 square. And yep, I lined it up perfectly. And that sort of recursion stuff kind of funky, but it works out. Okay, so I need to get inside of the friend box. Kind of get him into a corner so he can't really move around too much. Push that out. Then I also need to go get out myself. That'll work. And in fact, it gets the friend box in there. Or at least makes a very easy way to get the friend box in there. I suppose I'm not actually going to do that, though. Go from the bottom, and then get him out of there. Get them in 2 different areas, and yeah, that'll do it. Fairly simple sort of solution, but, you know, still kind of weird when you're controlling 2 different characters at one time. Next up, then, we got Possession. But I'm going to save that one for next time. Obviously, it's going to start going a little bit slower now that the puzzles are getting that much more difficult, as I need to go through these several times to just make sure that I understand them myself as I'm doing them.